Okay guys, this is video number 2 on how to embroider a t-shirt, and this is how I embroider a t-shirt. So I'm going to show you guys what I do to prep for it, the material that I use, how I hoop it, and then put it in a machine, and I'm going to do as much as I can. I'm new to this, so I don't know how to edit my videos, so I'm going to show you everything in real time if that's okay. So just fast forward what you don't need and rewind when you need to and all that good stuff. But until I can understand how to, use the editing and everything, I'm going to show you everything in real time. So I did prep a little bit prior so that I don't have to show every single step on the video. But here we go. It was one thing I forgot to grab, which is my hoop. So I'm going to turn around because I'm looking at it over there. Go out the camera for a second, grab my hoop, and then we can get started. So I'm going to put a little bit of music on just so that, but really low so that it's just not super quiet. And then YouTube don't have to get rid of me too bad. So, okay, so what you're going to need for this process is a hoop. I use magnetic hoops. You can use your regular hoop that comes with the embroidery machine. Right now I have a Brother PR670E. It's a Brother 6 needle. That's what I use right now. I also have a single needle, a desktop single needle that I have, poor baby, been sitting over there for a long time because I just love my 6 needle because it's much faster. So I'm using, for this one, I am making a 6 to 12 month, a 6 to 12 month onesie from AJ Blanks, boop, the bomb, and 7.25 magnetic hoop for this process. You're going to need to do, for this one, I'm creating a Uno theme shirt or design. So I have yellow fabric for my applique. I have black, and I'm going to be using this red sequin as well. So my design is already in my design program. So when you guys start, you are going to need a design program with a USB. And I'm going to show you on here because I don't know how to switch the cameras and stuff like that to make it so that you can see my computer screen, but I'm going to try to show you. This is what's going to be printed out. I don't know if you can see it that well. So you see the Uno, and then that's the customer's baby's name. So we're going to do that. So it's already loaded. It's set up for the size that I use for a 6 to 12 month 6 to 12 month onesie. I have used the 5.25 this way by 5.5 this way. So it's already set up, it's already on my USB. I'm going to take it out, put it in there. I have already switched out my colors, so I don't have to put that on video, but I already put the colors that I need on there. This is also something that I use. This is a Cricut mini press, so you'll see when I use that, so that's something you need. For your applique, I had already, like I said, did a few. So this is the lightweight heat and bond that you put on the back of your applique, so it sticks on there nice and flat, even, and you don't get as much puckering. So this is a roll of lightweight, no, this is ultra holds. Ooh, I used the wrong one. It's supposed to be lightweight, y'all. This is heat and bond. I thought this was a lightweight. Well, you know what? It works fine for me, so we want to continue to use it. But normally you would use heat and bond lights. Heat and bond light. But that's okay. We're going to work that out. Tender touch is this little piece of fabric that goes on the inside of the shirt to cover the stitches and everything. We're going to do that when we do finishing touches. Hopefully I'll have enough time on the video to do finishing touches. So this is something that, if you see any embroidered projects or you got kids that have embroidered, you're probably going to see a piece of like this if you turn it inside out. And this is called Tender Touch. And I'm going to hopefully understand enough about it where I can link it into the program. It came from Amazon. Okay. Other thing you're going to use that I use when I do t-shirts, I use tearaway. It rips. Okay. And I also use cutaway mesh. This is what keeps it from you seeing it behind. So you see your stabilizer more if you have cutaway, but this works well because it's soft. So it, you know, if you use heavyweight cutaway or something like that, it's going to stiffen up the shirt. But when you use the mesh, it's see-through. You don't see it through your white shirt. You won't see it through black, obviously. But if you had a white shirt, you want to make sure that, you know, something is movable, and you don't want to be able to see that stabilizer come through. Because when I first started, I was using cutaway, and it was working out, but you could see the outline of the cutaway. So we have upgraded. So when you're first learning how to embroider, and I am new at this as well, I think I've been embroidering for 1 year. But you try out different things, and you get a little better. Each project, learn something new, apply it to your next project. Okay, so this is something that I learned, something that I've stuck with, and that's what you're gonna need. So heat and bond light, this is ultra. Cutaway mesh, tearaway. Your hoop, whether it's magnetic or a screw hoop, you're going to need that in your design. I'm going to just throw this in the computer right now. So the placement for a baby or toddler, okay, because we're doing a onesie and it's a baby, your placement is your design needs to be about 1 inch from the neckline, okay? So I'm going to just tilt you just a little bit, just hopefully you guys can see. I'm going to move this behind me just a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Okay, so there we go. So front of here. Also, we need to get the center line. Okay, we need to see where the middle is. So we're going to get your heat press. Whatever you use, I have a Cricut heat press, so that's what I'm going to be using. And it'll warm up really quick. I had it on a little second ago, but it went off from it not being used. And I forgot my lint brush. I like to lint brush stuff, but it's pretty good. So we're going to fold it in half, right? This is how we're going to get our center. And they have hooping stations and things that make hooping a little bit easier. I haven't felt like I needed it personally yet, but the more orders I get, especially when you're doing the same thing, you want accuracy each time. A hooping station might be good for you if you're doing the same thing, because you want to make sure things are lined up the same. So for a baby, 1 inch. So I'll show you, and I'm pretty good at measuring with my eyes, so that's just from experience, but I'm going to show you like where I put it on a hoop that gives it that 1 inch. And like I said, guys, this is just what I do. You're going to watch other videos with this process that's going to give you better tips and things like that, but I'm just going to show my process. So I'm going to go back down. This is it folded in half. I got about 250 degrees on here, so that should be good. We're going to press down the crease. Let's give it like 10 seconds or so. And that's all you need, about 10 good seconds. Get that nice fold in there, right? Okay. So then here's the fold. Just let it cool for a second. And let's get ready for our stabilizer. Okay, so you're going to unhoop your hoop. This big side goes down, okay? You don't want to make this backwards. You make it upside down, it's going to hit in the machine. So you don't want this upside down. Make sure the bigger little piece here is going facing down, and the warning sign is upright. So, boop, okay? Alright, so that's done. Alright, so we let this cool just a little. And we're going to hoop first. So we got a little bit of a crease here. It's not always perfect, but you want to get something, some kind of guide. Okay, so let's unbutton the baby. I need my own. Throw this in here first. This is what I do. Put this in here first. Okay. So for me, so I'm putting the top of the hoop right here on the top of the neckline, okay? Because once I snap it, it's gonna fall right here, which is just a little bit. If I snap it, guys, the where it is, it's gonna snap right here, which is probably 3/4, you know, and then what we're gonna do is when we put it in the machine, we're gonna lift that design all the way up to as far as it goes, and that should give us about 1 inch. Okay, so let's put the hoop, the top of the hoop right here on the top of the neckline. So top, very top of the hoop, top of the neckline. So it's going to catch some of the neckline, but it's going to give you about a 1/2 or a 3/4 inch, okay? And then once we hoop it, it's going to pop right here. And then when we push it all the way up, you're going to need a little bit, about a 1/2 inch to a 1/4 inch in the machine before the needle is going to hit the so we're going to hit the hoop. So we're going to make sure but I'll show you guys where that matters. Okay, so at this point we need stabilizer, and they have, like I said, hooping stations that help out with this process, but I have not felt like I needed it yet. So just make sure it's straight, and it's tight up against the thing, so it's in there pretty even. You're going to get an even, it should pop evenly. So we just want to cut right where the end of it is. Okay, now be careful. Do not cut the baby shirt. So lift it up enough. Now move it. I'm going to try to be as clean. Okay, so that's your mesh that we cut first. This one is your tearaway. So whatever one you want to put, because I'm basically just using the other one just to measure it so that it's the same size. Okay, so we're just going to cut. Alright, so let's that. Alright, so now we have 2. The mesh should be on top, okay, because the tearaway you want to be on the bottom, because when we flip it upside down, we want to keep the mesh, but we're going to tear away the tearaway. I like to double it because just the mesh doesn't make me secure. Like, I like a nice thick stabilizer. That's just me. I do that for just my mental health in this process. So it does not feel tight when it's just a mesh. So I put both of them on just to give me a little bit more thickness. So we're going to fold it in half, okay, just to get it in. We're folding it in half and we're putting it in. Put it all the way up, pull from the top. Okay, now make sure that you get it as far as you can, and you want to cover the hoop if you can. Cover the hoop as much as you can. All right, so what's happening here is this is just a little bit too big. Just something that I do, guys. I'm telling you, there's easier ways to do it. The extra step doesn't bother me. So I'm just going to take a little bit off. I'm going to take about 1 inch off because it was about 1 inch heavy. I mean, too far over. Okay, so we're going to try it again. Half, just to get it in. Pull it through. Pull it over. Let me get back in the camera a little bit. Okay, lay one side down. Flip the other side down. All right, that feels perfect. Okay. So the hoop is nice and snug in here. We're covering the hoop with this stabilizer. We got both. We have the mesh on top, tearaway on the bottom. All right, the hoop shifted a little bit from when we moved it. Bring the top of the hoop up to the top of the neckline. Okay. All right, so you ready? We're going to take our magnetic hoop. You want to go really close so you can get a tight snap on there. You do it too far because it's going to magnetically grab it, but you want that stabilizer to be as tight as possible. So you're going to get closer. Closer and quick. Quick and close so we can get it on the first neck. Okay? So you have your center point. Everything feels good. You don't have no extra stabilizer on the side, but it's enough that it's covering the hoop. Okay? Let's go in close. Boom. Alright? So that's looks good. And I got it on the first time. Okay? That middle piece is actually the center. And it's lined up perfectly with our iron, our crease that we did. So just pull, just to make it a little bit tighter, you're going to pull the fabric just around a little bit just to get it tight. Pull it from the back a little bit, boom, boom, just to get it tight. All right. Pull it, give it a little pull, because it's in there good. Put your hand in there just to make sure it caught all the stabilizer. It caught all the stabilizer, pull it around all four corners, make sure it got the stabilizer nice and tight, and I got it good on the first time. This is tight, little drum, boop, boop, boop. I don't know if you can hear that, a little drum, so you want it drum tight. All right, so we got it on the first try. This is why I don't use the hooping station, because I feel like I don't need it right now. At some point in my embroidering career, I may need it, and I may invest in it at some point. Right now, I don't get enough orders to do that, but we're good. It's right here at the top. Once we put that machine, once we put it in the machine, you're going to need about 1/8 for your needle. Okay, so we're going to put it as much as we can. By the time we put it right here, it's going to be just about that inch that we need from the neckline. It don't have to be perfectly an inch, but it's going to be really close, and that design is going to be up high. When we're talking about adults, we need 3 inches from the neckline. This is about 3 inches. When we're talking about babies, because their bodies are a little bit smaller, it needs to be an inch from the neckline. Not 4 or 5 inches, because then you're going to lose it once you put like a little tutu or something with it. If your design's too low, you're gonna miss it, okay? Then your baby's tutu will be all the way down here, and we want it to be right here on the waist, okay? So this is ready, and we're gonna go ahead. And I'm going to move you a little bit because I want to get you over to the machine, because I want to get this popped in. And then I'm going to show you what we do with the applique, just so we're ready with the heat and bond. So I'm going to just throw this in my machine. Oh, you can still see me, great. Okay. Make sure that your design, the bottom of the shirt is under the arm. The bottom of the shirt needs to be under the arm where you will stitch through it. And I just want to check my bobbin. Okay, so I have enough bobbin for this project. So what I do is I put my hand in here and I grab the arm, just so that I know that it's not going to be on top of each other. Okay? And I always double check. So that's good. That's good. All right, so the next step as far as the applique, I did do this one off camera, okay? I started to do this off camera. So this is what it's going to look like once it's ironed. You're going to want to iron it, let it cool, then peel it off, okay? So you put heat and bonds on your fabric wrong side. Put your heat and bond on the wrong side, okay? You take it off, and then there's your little piece, because this is the glue that's going to make your design nice and flat and beautiful. Okay, so let's go ahead and trash that, and then I'm going to show you how to use the heat and bond. So you're going to take your fabric. I'm using this for the yellow part of the embroidery design. All right, so I'm just going to measure this out. I have, buy it in bulk, So just measure that out. Get you some scissors, cut what you need. Roll it back up, put it all to the side. I'm usually more messier, but for y'all, I'm going to stay kind of organized today. Okay, so cut this little piece off if you have any like leftover, like I have. If you want to make sure you know, you don't have any issues. This little white part, obviously we do not want that in the design, so you can go ahead and cut that off. All right, trash. So the instructions for your heat and bond calls for 7 seconds of press, or it might be the opposite. It might be 3 seconds to press, 7 seconds to cool, or something like that. But you need to let it cool. Otherwise, it won't pull off. It'll pull off still wet, or it won't pull off, or pull off and it won't do anything. So heat and bond. Let me put you back down because I want to show you again. Your fabric. This is the right side. This is the wrong side. Your right side is considered your pretty side, okay? So you want to put your pretty side down. Your heat and bond, you have a rugged side and you have a nice smooth side. Your rugged side is the part where, that's the glue, okay? So you're going to put that on the wrong side. So wrong side to wrong side, if that makes sense. And the instructions, from what I remember, they want you to press on the paper. Okay, so we're gonna press on the paper for about 5 to 7 seconds. Press, and if you have a heat press like this, you know, let it count down for you so you don't have to do it. So that was 7 seconds for me. We're gonna let that cool. Let that cool for a couple seconds. And I thank you guys for watching. And if you like this content, or if you just want to help my page out, you can subscribe and watch some of the videos. Like I said, I don't know how to edit too much yet, so I'm going to be doing videos. My first few videos will be in real time. I may take some time to trim it if I feel like it needs some editing, but I don't know how to use the full editing system yet, so I'm gonna do things in real time, which I like anyway. I like when people do stuff in real time. So that's just my opinion. It's cooling off. It's still a little hot. Let it cool all the way, especially if you're just starting. Let it cool all the way so you don't run into any issues. So just let it cool, and then we're ready to embroider, guys. Another thing you're gonna need is embroidery scissors, which is that curved scissors, and these are for to cut around the applique. And you're going to see how the curve makes a difference than, you know, a straight, because you need to cut. All right, so this should be cool enough. It's a little warm, but it's cool. And then just pull it apart. And you know it did it right when this is now shiny and not matte anymore, okay? So that's shiny, that's good, and this is fresh. Okay, so we are ready to go ahead and get the design in the computer. In the embroidery machine, and then I'm going to show you the process of actually embroidering a shirt and see how easy it is. Anybody can do it. All right, so I'm just going to move the camera just a little bit, and then I'm going to show you guys how I do it. So I'm going to bring you over close to me, and I'm going to grab a chair so that you guys can see when I cut and everything. And this is really a quick project. That's why I chose to do this one, especially on camera, because this is pretty quick. Okay, so if you need anything or a tutorial on how to use this specific embroidery machine, I will be able to help you. It's PR670E. I'm not an expert, but I can get a project done. So we're going to hit our USB button. I have a lot of designs, so it's going to take a little bit of a second to load them. This is all ready here. And we're going to find Nunia, which is the Uno design, and Nunia is the name. I'm going to go ahead and help that mom out with getting her little baby ready for her birthday. So we're excited. So we're going to find Nunia. Hopefully it went on here. I have so many designs. I don't think it's on that page. So we are looking. We are looking. I should have pulled this up before, guys, but that's okay. It's in real time, like I said. So I want you guys to see the process. So you're going to pull up the designs. Okay, so I see some Uno designs coming up on the last page. So there's Nunia. Okay, so there it is. So we're gonna hit set. Let's put it up just a little bit. I'm gonna trace it on here. You might be able to see the beam or the laser, not the beam. The laser on here is going to actually show where, make sure it's in frame. Make sure it's not hitting this. You do not want to hit your embroidery machine on your mighty hoop or any hoop for that matter. So I just pulled it up a little bit. I don't know where it's going to be, but this is the trace button here, this little arrow. And I'm going to trace it, make sure it goes all the way up where I need it to be so we can get our inch from the neckline. So it's in frame so far. And it's a little high because the beam actually was on the hoop. So that means it's going to hit it. So I'm going to bring this back down a little bit. And I'm going to do it again. Just to make sure the design stays in the hoop. It's not hitting the hoop. So far we're good. And I want it right up at the top. And that is perfect. That's perfect to me. It didn't hit the hoop. And it was enough for the needle so that the needle doesn't hit it. Okay? So we're ready. So we're going to hit embroidery. All right. So this is asking for, this is going to be the tack down stitch. No, not the tack down stitch, the placement stitch. Placement stitch basically stitches out your design enough so you can see where to place your fabric. Okay, so this is going to do a placement stitch first. Then it's going to do your tack down stitch. And then depending on what order or what design, it'll show you when it's going to do the satin stitch in your final stitch. Okay, so this calls for a 28-minute design at 800 speed. It goes up to 1,000. This machine goes up to 1,000. If it went up to 1,000, it would be a 26. So I'm saving 2 minutes, and I like things just to be a little bit slower. You know, fast but slow, so I can keep an eye on it. All right, so I'm going to start picking colors. I have a 5-color design. I already loaded the colors for you. So we're going to go ahead and start picking the colors. So this little magic wand, if you're interested in the PR670E, it does tell you where to pick the color. So you have placement 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, going from right to left. And for my placement stitch, I would like to use red because that's what I'm going to be putting. I'm putting red on there. So I'm going to assign red is on the 4th position. So red's going to be number 4. This is asking for that was a placement. Now the tack down stitch, I like to match the colors because if you don't match colors, they could come through depending on what color you decide. And the machine is going to pick whatever colors they want for you. You want to assign your colors and how you want it to look. I like things to be uniform. I don't like things showing up when they're not supposed to because it's still a computer, still thread and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to try to make it as nice as we can and what we have control over. So the tack down stitch, I also want to be red, which is position 4. And then the Uno, this is actually going to be yellow. So I'm going to use that placement stitch to make that yellow. So that's on position 5. Here's the placement stitch. That was placement. Now this is tack down. All right, so the next one is yellow. And hold on 1 second because that actually might be the, no, that's red. Hold on. Because this is kind of like a, oh, what happened here? All right, bear with me, guys. Okay, so the Uno, that's going to be the red. Okay, now this part, okay, so that part is going to be black. 1 second. Okay, so the second one is the black. Okay, so we have the, okay, so that's red. Okay, so this one's actually going to be black. But we don't need, we don't necessarily need a black thread for this because there's no black satin stitch. So we're gonna we can use any color for this one. Let's just go with white then, just so it'll show up on the black. Okay, so then we'll do, white is actually in position 6. Let's do position 6 again. And this one is going to be the yellow Uno word. So yellow is position 5. Position 5. This one is, okay, this one is the yellow as well. So that's position 5. And then here's the satin stitches for the outside. So red is 4. And then white is going to finish that out because it has like a white little outline. All right, and then the name is last. So we're going to go with Nunia. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and green again is 2. All right, so everything's all set up. This is all ready. We're gonna put reserve stop so we can stop it. I know sometimes you can put stops in on your program. I'm not even that good in the program where I know how to put the stops in. Something that I need to learn so I don't have to keep hitting reserve stop on here. But I do believe that there is a way to put stops in your design before you even send it to your machine so that you don't have to put the stops in. It'll make them for you. But until then, we can manually stop it. So after everything, I always hit stop just so I can make sure my stuff is good. You know, so I always put in stop unless I know for sure. But when I'm doing applique, I stop everything so that I can make sure I'm doing it correctly. All right, so we're gonna put a stop in, unlock it, and then we're ready for the placement stitch. And we're going to put this on the background, which is the red part. So then we need this. So I'm just going to bring this a little bit closer so you can see what it's actually doing. You see? It's showing you the placement. This is what you're going to put over. You're going to put your fabric over this. It's telling you where to put it. Be careful putting your hand in there. I know I sat there and did it, but okay. So very easy. Placement stitch done. So what you're going to do is now you're just going to place this over your stitches. Make sure you cover the whole thing. So even if you got to go in, check to make sure it's covering everything. Check to make sure it's covering everything. Reserve stop again. Unlock it. This is placement stitch. This stitches it down. This stitches it down. So you know where to cut. With the first placement stitch, it's going to move and do another tack down stitch. I'm sorry guys, we are on the tack down stitch now. And the more you do it, the more you trust your machine. I don't trust nothing. So I watch it, I do watch it. When I get busier, I'll probably watch it less, but I'm not that busy, so And this is kind of therapeutic for me. So I can watch this all day long. It doesn't bother me one bit. Alright, so we're almost done this. After this is done, I'm going to show you how to cut it out. Hopefully with this video, I'll be able to, I'm going to try to speed it up during this process since you saw this in real time. When we do the next placement, I'll try to see if I can like speed it up. But if not, it's going to stay in real time. Okay. So that's done, and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to show you guys how I cut it. So you pulled it out the machine. See, there's the outline and all that good stuff. Let me see if I can get you to be right here on my lap. Okay, so I didn't mean to actually make this white, but I'm kind of glad that I did because you can actually see it better. I usually match the colors. So you're just going to cut right around each of the around the threads. You're just going to cut around it nice and close, not too much, but close enough. Close. And I got too much material, so I'm wasteful, guys. Try not to be as wasteful as I am. Make sure you're getting, so you're going to cut around the tack down stitch. Trying to make sure I keep saying it correctly. So you're cutting around the tack down stitch. Look at me wasting all this material. Guys, don't be wasteful like me. Cut around it. Nice and close. So that you make sure your satin stitch, which is the last stitch. Now I'm running into a angling problem here. But I think you guys still see what I'm doing. This is very therapeutic for me, so this is not considered on my end any time wasted or time consuming. For me, this is therapeutic, and I hope that, you know, you guys love it when you do it as well. So you might have a little bit of a place where you're like a little tight, or you might not get the angle that you want. Be careful with cutting the shirt. So you want to be very careful. You don't want to cut the shirt, but that's why you have to put it nice and tight, so you don't have any bubbling in your garment that it pops up during this process and stuff like that. And you might have to start cutting the shirt and all that kind of stuff. You don't want to do that. So make sure when you're hooping, you're getting it nice and tight. So we're just still cutting around the thread, and I'm so glad I mistakenly made the tack down stitch white, but I'm actually glad that I did, because it's so much easier to see. But most of the time, if I wasn't making a mistake, guys, it would have been red. It would have been red to match. Okay. Almost done. And then I really want to show you this next step. This next step is what makes your projects very pretty and stand out from the rest, make it look very professional. This next step is very important. When I learned about this step, I said, oh my goodness, that made my projects look so much better. So we're just cutting. And when you're doing sequin and stuff, get your lint brush, which mine is upstairs. I'm not going to go upstairs today, so hopefully I can wipe it with my hand and it comes up. But this sequin is it can be very messy, but it's not too bad. I've seen material more messy than this, and this is not too bad. So get nice and close, guys, so you don't run into an issue where it goes past your satin stitch, that last stitch, that top stitch. But if you have your lint brush, I'm just wiping it with my hand, but lint brush gets it all up. But this is not too bad. You can actually wipe that with our hand. So just double check. So this is what the first process is looking like. Okay, the first step, I'm just gonna go in and just get a little closer. Get as close as you can to that stitch without cutting the stitch off. If you can, get in there, get close. And just double check that you got everything. Always double check. I'm even learning after doing so many projects now. Sometimes you let your guard down, you're like, I'm good now. Nope, double check, triple check. Especially when you're doing orders and dealing with names, double check that spelling. One time I had a shirt, her name was Ella. I was putting Bella and I had it in the machine. And then I said, let me just triple, quadruple check this. And sure enough, it was Ella and not Bella. I said that would have been a waste of a shirt, guys. So you don't want to do that. Triple check your work if possible. All right, we're going over to the Cricut mini press. Sorry for the noise. We're going to the Cricut mini press, which turned off, which is fine. It heats up really quick. Okay, so I'm gonna let that get to the green really quickly. Okay, so this is another shirt that I did. This is what it's gonna look like. Okay, so our next thing is gonna be the black on the back. So we're gonna do black and then yellow. It's only 3 appliques, this project, which is really good. So basically what we're gonna be doing while that's heating up, we're gonna take our heater, press this down. Remember the heat and bond we put on there? That sticks it to the shirt. So put a little heat to that for like 10 seconds. Get it nice and flat. Because if it's not flat, when it's stitching, because it's such a tight stitch, it's going to make it bubble. It's already bubbled right now, right? So if you feel it before you heat it, it got a little bump to it. You want that thing to be flat. All right, so we're going to let that warm up another couple seconds. This thing heats up really quick. I love this heat press. It was really cheap. It was about $50, and it's good. It's good when you're doing vinyl, when you're doing little projects, and you just need a little spot instead of the whole big old thing right here. This is perfect. So I found that this works better for me with my embroidery than it does with my vinyl. So I'm so glad that I bought this. I actually bought it for my vinyl, and I found that it's the bomb for my embroidery. So I'm so glad I had invested in that. See, it's ready already. So let me bend you back down here. I'm gonna take this, put some heat to it, move it around. Okay, get it nice and flat. Get it nice and flat. Ooh. You know what we should have did, guys? And that was my fault. We need a piece of Teflon sheet. So let's get Teflon, because that actually took off all my sequin. Okay, not the end of the world, but I don't appreciate that it did that. And honestly, if you wanted to, you could go back. I could actually go back into the machine, which I think I'm going to do, and put another piece on there, just on this part. Let the machine do it, and then come back. All right, so I'm going to do that because I don't want to give her this. This is a paying customer, and look at it picked it all up. So we're gonna clean that off, right? I'm gonna take this back into the machine, get me another piece, put a little bit of heat and bond on it really quick, and then let it do that tack down stitch one more time. So I'll be right back. Give me a second. Matter of fact, I'll take you guys with me. I'm gonna put it back in the machine. And I have some scraps from when I did it the first time. Make sure every time, guys, you take it out and put it back in, double check, because it's been times I put it back in and been times I put it back in and then it winds up stitching. So what we're gonna do is back it up. We're gonna rewind, go back to the first one, not the first one, the second one, right? Ooh, let me double check. Yeah, this one for the placement stitch. I mean the tack down stitch. And I'm going to see where it goes. Okay, so we did the bottom one first, so let's add 100. Add 100. Okay, do that next. Okay, okay, so one. I'm finding out exactly where that red beam is telling exactly where it is. Okay, so I'm just going to throw this back on here, let it do that stitch, and then just double it up. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. When that happens, just fix it. So it took some more time, but it's worth it to fix it. And I made a little mistake. I didn't realize it was it. I didn't know I didn't do that last time, but that's okay. Alright, and the thread came up. I'm sorry, we're going to throw it back in there. So I'm sorry guys that this is in real time. Hopefully I can skip this part in the video. So okay, so just go back and clean that up. You can always rewind on your embroidery machine. You can always go back. Let's make it right. So we're going to use a piece of Teflon sheet on here because it took off all the sequins. I don't remember using a Teflon sheet before, but we know now. Use the Teflon sheet for the sequin because it took off all that. Or you might have could have set the heat for a little bit lighter instead of letting it get all the way hot. Teflon sheet for the sequin. Get it nice and flat on here. Some heat to it. Get it nice and flat. Yep, so now, beautiful. Okay, the black. Alright, the black applique is next. So I was going to do the placement stitch. So I don't know why it's doing that, but okay. It's been doing it my last couple projects for some reason. I probably need to clean it. Black, place it on there right on top of the placement stitch. Lock it, reserve stop again so it'll stop after your stitch. Tack down stitch. Okay, this is why I don't like it to go too fast. I'm not really 100% sure why this thing stops, but it does stop a lot for some reason. That part, guys, I have no explanation for it. All I do is just put it back in there and just go back 10 stitches and re-thread it. That's all I do, and then get it back started. Sometimes it goes as planned, sometimes it doesn't. I misplaced my scissors. I'm going to look around for them. scissors. All right, I'm gonna find me another little pair. Okay, I found them. They're on the floor over here. Okay. All right, so this is the black, and we're going to cut that out now, or cut around that. Close, not so close that you're cutting your thread, but nice and close. Nice and close. Okay, nice and close. Again, if you're able to get more for your money by making little smaller pieces, you can get more for your money. Me, I'm horrible at it. So I waste a lot of material. Not purposely. But I like it to be big enough where I don't have to run into any issues here by not having enough. I'd rather have more than enough than not enough. Some people print it out, let their Cricut cut it and all that fancy stuff. I'm like, wow. But I do not want to pull that Cricut out. Get all in the nooks and crannies here. Get all in there. It's awkward, but do the very best you can. Clean up all that. Okay. I got to get around this U. And I got to get into that O, guys. You got to get into that O. Okay. So now we got to get into that O. So just get a little bit of a, you got to dig in there. Or give it a little cut and get in there. Like get a little slice or slit, put a little slit in there, and then you can cut around it. Guys, I'm so sorry. My video is getting very long, so I'm hoping to be able to trim it for you. Okay, so I think I got everything. I think I'm pretty close to my thread here. Close, not too close where the, okay. So we got in the O, we did all that. We're gonna take it back to our Cricut Easy Press. Back to the Cricut Easy Press. Or mini press, I'm sorry. Guys, we need that lint brush. I'm gonna grab it when I put it back on the machine. So let's get the Teflon sheet because of the sequin. Press it down. Press it. Get it nice and flat. Let it cool for a second. Just check how flat it is. You might have to go back, flatten it again. Okay, let's see. Ooh, it's nice and flat. Okay, it's beautiful. All right, we got one more applique to do. While I have this in the machine, guys, I'm going to run up and get our lint brush, especially with this black. Okay. Okay, it's starting to look like something. Alright, I'm going to grab the lint brush while this stitches out and does the tack down stitch. So one more applique piece. Okay, so that is it's finishing up the tack down stitch, which basically tells you exactly where to cut. And for the sake of the video, I'm going to let that finish because that's the last of the applique. And the rest of it, all it's going to do is do that final white stitch and the name. So hopefully once I'm able to learn how to trim, learn how to edit, I can show you guys the whole process, but because of the sake of the video and the sake of time, I'm going to show you what it's going to look like. It's this. So we did the applique red, we did the applique black, we did the applique yellow, and the only thing that's left is that white satin stitch that's going to go around the uno, and then the name. So for the sake of the video, I'm not going to show it until I learn more editing. However, this is the end of the design, all this placement. So I showed you placement, I showed you what to do. I have to do one more ironing after I cut this out, and then I'm going to let the machine finish it out. I don't need to watch it. I don't need to stop it anymore. I'll just let it finish out stitching. It has about 19 minutes left. And for, like I said, for the sake of time, this is what it's going to look like. And I'm going to link some materials down in the description box so that you guys can go in there and choose your materials. If you're just starting out, if you don't have them, you know where to get them. You can click on there, find where to get them. And then I just want to thank you again for watching my video. Subscribe to my channel. I'm going to do lots of videos. Hopefully I'll be able to do more videos with all the things that I do. I just got another order today, so I'm going to hopefully be able to show you guys that process as well. So we're just going to have fun on this channel and just watch how I do things, you know, answer any questions and things like that. So you guys just show me what other content, and like I said, I'm not a professional. I've been only doing embroidery for about a year, so I'm learning as well. And if it's anything you guys want to help me with, maybe finding out some easier things to do to make my process a little bit faster, I'm open to all of that. So if you want to like this video, give me a thumbs up, watch it in its entirety. And like I said, tips, tricks, all that good thing I'm open to. And I just want to say thank you, subscribe to my channel, and I will be back. So thanks so much, guys, for watching. You have a great rest of your day.